We watch The Simpsons with Homer, and the number of times he has died throughout the show is no joke. From being ripped apart by a werewolf to getting beheaded by Dracula's wives. This is every time Homer died. 1. Starting from the time Homer died in the 300th episode of the series. Homer really messes up his relationship with Bart, and in an attempt to repair it, he stars in an extremely embarrassing advert as an impotent dude.
Don't worry, Dad, it's just a commercial. No one will remember this in 50 years.
You're not wrong to assume he died from embarrassment. And if you think this is embarrassing, wait till you hear the 7th on this list. 2. Homer has also died from getting shot by 4 t-shirt guns. Instead of bullets, the guns that caused his death had thick rolled t-shirts for bullets. Homer was shot 25 times. I mean, would you survive such an attack? This death happened in a dream that Bart had when he was in a coma. 3. And when Bart wakes from the coma, he predicts how almost everyone in Springfield is going to die. Guess what? In this prediction, Homer dies from getting shot again. This time, the killing is done by confused cops wielding real guns that fire real bullets. This is not the one and only time Homer dies from a gunshot. 4. In the 15th Treehouse of Horror episode, Homer gets shot by Ned Flanders thrice. Flanders has a vision where Homer blows up Springfield, so he shoots Homer to stop the vision from becoming reality. However, killing Homer doesn't change the premonition. If anything, it backfires on him, and soon enough, Homer and Ned are face to face with their maker. 5. Homer dies again when Mr. Burns removes his brain in a Get Out type horror flick. His brain is removed and placed in a robot according to Burns' twisted plan to have a robot Homer. Later on, Burns returns the brain to Homer's head, but it doesn't change the fact that for a few hours, Homer was a vegetable. 6. And even when alive, Homer sometimes acts like a vegetable. Just like in the 10th Treehouse of Horror episode, where Homer is charged with the responsibility of being the Springfield nuclear power plant's Y2K compliance officer. Homer neglects to fix all possible problems in the plant's computers, resulting in a virus being spread across electronic devices all over the world. Inevitably, this causes widespread destruction and societal collapse.
I can't believe I destroyed the Earth.
So, in a bid to escape Earth with the world's most important people like Bill Gates, Homer and Bart get into a spaceship that is headed towards the sun instead of Mars. Instead of accepting his fate, Homer ejects himself and his son from the rocket, leading them to pop to their deaths in space. 7. At the 7th time, Homer dies an extremely embarrassing yet somehow funny death when a werewolf munches him to death. This werewolf is none other than his friendly neighbor, Ned Flanders. In the face of the ravenous Flanders, Homer giggles, thinking Ned being a wolf is a joke, unlike his family who sees the danger and flees. Unable to outrun the wolf, Homer serves as dinner for the wolf, even going out while making jokes. At least, the creators were kind enough to keep the gruesome sight away from the screen. 8. Listen, did you know you can die from eating broccoli? Well, you actually can't. But guess who can? You guessed that right. Homer Simpson. The crazy thing about this particular death is the fact that there were a lot of things that were supposed to kill him, but he survived. Like a giant boulder falling on his car, a pickaxe flying through his car window, and even getting bitten by a snake. It is when he gets home and ingests a broccoli that he dies on the spot. The craziest thing about this is that he is given a second chance at life, but he dies again from eating the same broccoli that killed him.
I tried the broccoli again.
9. With that being said, it shouldn't come as a surprise to know that Homer has died from too much spaghetti too. In this surreal episode, Homer is depicted as one of the 7 deadly sin, gluttony. In the depiction, he slurps on a spaghetti strand until his whole body turns into spaghetti, grotesquely killing him. 10. But that death isn't as gruesome as the one that comes next, when he is depicted as Sloth. As he swings on a hammock, the threads of the hammock turn into laser beams that slice him clean through, like butter on a heated knife. 11. Homer also gets sliced to death by a rigged voting machine in the 4th episode of the 20th season. He wants to vote for Barack Obama, but the rigged machine keeps choosing John McCain, no matter what he presses.
This machine is rigged!
That's right. Homer gets sucked into the machine where he gets shredded to death. The machine then spits out his dead, broken body. 12. In another grisly death, Homer gets shot in the head by the ghost of Krusty the Clown. In the events leading to his demise, Homer is an assassin whose niche is celebrities who refuse to lend their names to advertising. Eventually, his bad deeds catch up to him when the celebrities he has killed leave heaven to enact revenge on him and Springfield. Leading the riot is Krusty the Clown, the first celebrity that Homer killed. Without hesitation, Krusty ardently squeezes the trigger of his gun aimed at Homer's head. 13. His head also gets cut off that one time he pissed off the wives of Dracula, the werewolf, the mummy, and Frankenstein by saying,
Lighten up, ladies. It's not cheating when you're wearing a costume.
The wives rush at him and claw at him until all that is left of him is his head. They forcefully decapitate his dead body, sending his head flying across the room until it lands safely in a punch bowl. 14. Homer Simpson has also been choked to death by God. You see, Homer pranked Ned Flanders into being a serial killing vigilante, focused on killing Homer's enemies. Ned eventually finds out that he has been the object of a diabolic prank, and he angrily confronts Homer. Homer then laughs it off and tries to prove there is no God by burning the Bible. That's when the earth quakes and a giant hand comes from above. The hand is so large that 2 fingers are enough to squeeze Homer's neck until he dies. 15. Another time Homer dies is when he falls off a cliff with his clones. In the first episode of the 14th season, Homer purchases a magic hammock that has the power to make clones. Amazed by this magic hammock, Homer creates more clones and uses them to ease himself of certain duties as a father and husband, like taking Marge shopping, spending time with his kids, and making breakfast. Everything changes when one of the clones kills Ned, so Homer decides to get rid of all the clones. He then drops off the clones far away from his house, leaving them to wreak havoc on Springfield. Soon after, the clones start increasing in number until it becomes a matter that bothers the entire country. To get rid of all the clones, the government decides to use giant donuts to lure them to fall off a cliff, and the plan works perfectly. Except, the real Homer is among the clones that fall from the cliff. Matter of fact, he's the first to fall off the cliff.
Then the real Homer?
First over cliff.
16. Homer Simpson getting shot by his wife Marge seems like the most impossible thing to happen in this show, seeing how she is so in love with him. Except, she has shot him to death before. And it was because she didn't like the way he rolled up Bart and Lisa in a carpet and beat them mercilessly with a baseball bat. 17. In Days of Future, Homer meets his end too. It begins when Marge implores Homer to stop eating after 3 a.m. in the morning.
He's up on the eating after 3 a.m.
Her words move Homer to make the decision to start eating healthy, so he charges up the stairs after her to let her know. Unfortunately, he tumbles down the stairs, gets a bite of pepperoni along the way, and dies.
All that's left are clever last words.
That's it for Every Time Homer Died in The Simpsons. To know about his life and evolution in The Simpsons' complicated timeline, tap on this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and share. See you in the next one.